Caught naked by my alien teacher, she wanted more than lessons. The academy floated above a blue gas giant like a ring of light. From far away it looked calm and beautiful, but inside it was a place of pressure. Many species came there to learn how to survive in the wider galaxy. Humans were new. They were watched closely. Evan Hale walked through a quiet corridor with metal walls that softly glowed. He was a human cadet, young but already tired in a way most aliens did not understand. Gravity felt wrong here. The air smelled clean but thin. Every step reminded him that this place was not built for humans. His instructor, Professor Salith, watched him from across the hall. She was tall, with long silver skin and 4 dark eyes that reflected light like glass. Her species believed knowledge was the highest form of power. They believed emotion was weakness. Humans confused her. Salith had been assigned to study and teach the human cadets. Officially, it was about strategy, survival theory, and galactic law. Unofficially, it was about finding out why humans had survived so long in such a dangerous corner of space. Evan entered a private training chamber, thinking it was empty. The lights were low. He set down his gear and let out a slow breath. The day had been long. His body hurt. He removed his outer suit to adjust a damaged brace on his arm. For a moment he felt exposed, not just physically but mentally. He was far from home, surrounded by beings who did not think like him. That was when Salith stepped inside. She stopped when she saw him. Not because of his lack of armor, but because of what her sensors showed. His heart rate was steady. His muscles were tense but controlled. Pain signals were present, yet his mind remained focused. To her species, this was strange. Most beings showed stress clearly. Humans hid it. I did not intend to intrude, Salith said. Her voice was calm, smooth, without shame or surprise. Evan stiffened and reached for his suit. I thought the chamber was free, Professor. It was, she replied, until I arrived. There was a pause. In that silence, Salith observed more than she ever had in a classroom. Humans were fragile in many ways. Their skin was thin. Their bodies were inefficient, but they endured. You continue your tasks even when damaged, she said. Evan shrugged slightly. That's normal for us. For you, she corrected. Not for the galaxy. She turned and left without another word. Evan stood there for a moment, confused. He expected punishment or questions. Instead, he felt like something else had happened, something he could not name. Later that cycle, Salith reviewed the Academy's records. Human history filled her screens. Wars, disasters, failed colonies, rebuilt cities. Again and again, humans lost everything and started over. No single event explained them. It was the pattern that mattered. She requested a private evaluation session with Evan. The next day, Evan entered a simulation chamber. The space shifted around him, becoming a ruined outpost on a dead world. The air was toxic. The ground shook. Alarms echoed. This is not part of your normal lessons, Salith said over the link. Respond as you see fit. Evan checked his gear. He had limited power, low visibility, and no clear objective. Any other species would wait for instructions. Evan moved. He sealed a breach using scrap metal and his own suit power. He rerouted failing systems by hand. When a simulated structure collapsed, he dragged himself through smoke and debris to reach the core controls. His movements were slow but steady. Salith watched in silence. The simulation was designed to overwhelm. It was meant to show failure. Evan did not succeed perfectly, but he did not stop. When the simulation ended, Evan collapsed to one knee, breathing hard. You ignored safety protocols, Salith said. They wouldn't have worked, he replied. Sometimes you just do what you can with what's there. This answer stayed with her. In the following days, Salith changed her lessons. She pushed the humans harder. She removed clear goals. She introduced chaos. The human cadets complained, but they adapted. They argued, they improvised, they supported each other without orders. Other instructors began to notice. One of them, a heavy-scaled being named Korth, confronted Salith. Your methods are inefficient. Humans are undisciplined. They are adaptable, Salith replied. There is a difference. Adaptability without control leads to collapse. Or survival, she said. The Academy Council announced a joint evaluation, a live exercise with multiple species. The goal was simple: secure a resource node on a hostile simulated planet. The conditions were not. Storms cut off sensors. Communications failed. The terrain shifted. Several teams froze, waiting for orders that never came. The human team did not. Evan took command without being assigned. He split the group into small units. They used the storm for cover. When their tech failed, they marked paths manually. When one cadet fell, another carried them without slowing. Salith watched from the control chamber as the humans reached the node last but held it the longest. They built defenses from broken parts. They predicted enemy movement not through data but through behavior. They lost the exercise on points. They won on endurance. Afterward, the council discussed the results. Many saw humans as inefficient, too emotional, too unpredictable. Salith spoke only once. "You judge them by standards that do not apply," she said. "Humans are not optimized for peace. They are optimized for disaster." The room went quiet. That night, Salith stood alone in the observation deck, watching the gas giant turn slowly below. She thought of Evan in the training chamber, damaged but calm, of human history written in failure and persistence. She had wanted to teach humans how the galaxy worked. Now she realized something else. The galaxy might need to learn how humans worked. Far below, the Academy lights reflected in the planet's storms, unaware that something small, stubborn, and dangerous had just been truly noticed for the first time. The Council's decision did not come with praise or punishment. Instead, it came with silence. The Academy continued its routines, but something had changed. Humans were no longer treated as just another weak species to be trained. They were watched. Evan felt it first in small ways. Doors stayed open a second longer. Conversations stopped when he entered a room. Other cadets from species far stronger or smarter by normal measures looked at him with new caution. Salith noticed it too. Requests for her reports increased. The Council asked for deeper analysis, more data, clearer answers. She could not give them what they wanted. Humans did not fit clean models. Then the alert came, a real one, not a test. A research station near the Academy's orbit went dark. No signals, no escape pods. The station studied unstable energy fields, most assumed an accident. Salith did not, the Council argued. Sending a response team risked lives. Waiting risked worse. In the end, they chose a mixed group, small and fast. Humans were included. Evan stood inside a transport ship, checking his equipment. It was old, patched, and familiar. His team was quiet. Fear was there, but so was focus. They had trained for chaos, even if they did not know it. Salith watched from the command seat. This was not a lesson. This was real. For the first time, she felt something close to concern. The station appeared ahead, broken and spinning slowly. Large sections were missing. Energy flickered across its surface like lightning trapped in metal. Sensors failed as they got closer. The ship docked hard. The airlock opened to darkness. Inside, gravity shifted without warning. Hallways twisted. Walls hummed with unstable force. Other species on the team hesitated. Their training told them to wait for full scans. Evan moved. He secured a line and stepped forward, testing each surface by hand. He listened. Felt vibrations through his boots. He made choices with incomplete information because he had learned long ago that waiting for perfect data could get you killed. The team followed. They found survivors trapped behind a collapsed bulkhead. The energy field had fused metal into strange shapes. Tools failed. Cutting beams sparked and died. Evan studied the wreckage, then ordered power shut down to half the station. Alarms screamed. Systems protested. Salith started to object, then stopped. She watched. The field weakened just enough. The humans pried open a gap using simple leverage and teamwork. They pulled the survivors free one by one. Then the station shook. Something inside it was growing unstable. The energy core was reacting, feeding on its own output. A chain failure was coming. The Council ordered immediate retreat. Evan looked at the core readings. He shook his head. Leaving now would mean the explosion would tear through nearby space lanes. Thousands could die. "We can slow it," he said. "You will not survive," came the reply. "Maybe," Evan answered, "but we might." Salith closed her eyes briefly, then she cut the Council feed. "Proceed," she said. The humans worked fast. They rerouted power manually. They used their own suits as grounding paths. Pain warnings flooded their systems. None of them stopped. Evan entered the core chamber alone. The heat was intense. The energy field pulled at his body, at his thoughts. His suit failed in layers. He anchored himself and adjusted the core by hand, timing his movements between surges. Each action cost him strength. Each second mattered. Outside, the team counted down the evacuation window. They did not leave. When the final adjustment locked in place, the core stabilized. Not safe, but stable enough. Evan collapsed. They carried him back to the ship just before systems failed completely. The station went silent behind them, wounded but no longer dying. Back at the academy, the story spread fast. Humans had disobeyed direct orders. Humans had saved lives. Humans had risked themselves without certainty of success. The council was divided. Salith stood before them again, but this time she did not argue theory. "You ask why humans endure," she said. "It is because they accept loss before it happens." "They act anyway," one council member asked. "Are they dangerous?" Salith answered honestly. "Yes, to threats, to chaos, to anything that assumes survival must be clean and logical." Evan recovered slowly. His body healed faster than expected, though not without scars. When he returned to training, he found something new waiting: respect. Other species trained with humans now, not over them. They learned how to adapt, how to improvise, how to continue when plans failed. Salith changed her curriculum for the entire academy. The galaxy would not become human, but it would survive longer by learning from them. From the observation deck, Salith watched Evan laugh with his team, tired but alive. For the first time in her long life, she understood something simple and powerful. Humans were not the strongest, they were not the smartest. They were the ones who stayed when everyone else calculated the cost and walked away. And that made all the difference. The human ship arrived late. In galactic terms, late meant dangerous. The battle was already decided when the small, scarred vessel dropped out of jump space near the Kethar line. Wreckage drifted through the dark, glowing softly where energy weapons had torn metal apart. Larger fleets had come before the humans. Larger fleets had turned back. The enemy still waited. They were called the Viral, tall, cold beings who believed retreat was wisdom. Their doctrine was simple. If the cost was too high, you withdrew. You survived to fight another day. Because of this, they had ruled their region of space for centuries. No one could force them into a losing fight. The human ship did not turn away. Captain Mara Ilias stood on the bridge, hands resting lightly on the rail. The ship around her creaked and hummed, held together by repairs layered over older repairs. It was not impressive. It was not fast, it was stubborn. Her crew waited for orders. They were tired. They had already seen 3 Allied fleets break and retreat after probing the viral defenses. Each time the reports had been the same. Enemy fire too precise, defenses too strong. Losses unacceptable. Myra studied the tactical display. The viral formation was perfect, clean, predictable. "That's the problem," she said quietly. Her first officer looked at her. "Ma'am, they're expecting us to leave." The viral commander observed the human ship with mild curiosity. Its energy output was low. Its weapons were outdated. By all calculations, engaging it would cost more than ignoring it. And so, as doctrine advised, the viral held position. They waited for the humans to retreat. Instead, the human ship advanced. No warnings, no demands, just slow, steady movement forward. The viral fired a single measured volley. It was enough to cripple most ships of that size. The human shields flared, failed in sections, and held in others. The ship did not stop. Inside, alarms rang, consoles sparked. One engine dipped below safe output. Myra did not raise her voice. "Route auxiliary power to the forward hull, keep moving." "Captain, we're taking damage," someone said. "I know." The ship pushed closer, another volley hit. Armor burned away. Hull plating peeled back like paper. The viral commander frowned. The damage should have triggered retreat protocols. The humans should have disengaged to preserve forces. They did not. At a distance that made no tactical sense, the human ship fired. Not a full barrage, not precise strikes, just everything it had unleashed at once. The viral shields absorbed most of it, but not all. Several outer nodes failed, minor damage easily repaired, yet something unexpected happened. The human ship stayed. It did not try to reposition. It did not withdraw. It drifted closer, burning, leaking energy, still firing in uneven bursts. The viral commander hesitated. This engagement no longer followed any known model. Continuing the fight now carried increasing risk. "Withdraw," one of the viral advisors suggested. "The cost curve is rising." The commander considered it. Then the human ship rammed one of the defensive platforms. The impact shattered both structures. Debris exploded outward, damaging nearby viral ships. The human vessel broke apart, but even as it did, automated systems continued firing until power failed completely. Silence followed. The viral fleet pulled back, not because they were defeated, not because they were destroyed, because the cost had become unpredictable. Hours later, rescue teams from the Allied fleets arrived. They expected to find nothing. They found survivors. Myra was pulled from the wreckage with a broken arm and burns across her side. She was conscious, angry mostly because she had not destroyed more. News of the engagement spread fast. Analysts across the galaxy reviewed the data. On paper, the humans had lost. One ship destroyed, minimal enemy losses, but the Kethar line held. The viral did not return. Their doctrine could not explain humans. In the days that followed, human ships arrived in numbers, not large fleets. Small groups, damaged vessels, civilian conversions, old military hulls dragged out of storage. They took positions where others would not. Every time the viral tested the line again, a human ship stayed longer than it should, fought past the point of logic, turned retreat into a weapon by refusing to use it. The viral command council met in private. "These humans do not value survival correctly," one said. "They do," another replied. "They simply value something more." "What?" The answer did not come easily. On the human side, no speeches were made, no grand declarations. The crews repaired their ships and waited. Myra returned to duty with her arm still in a brace. When asked why she had advanced instead of retreating, she answered simply, "Someone had to stay." Across the galaxy, that answer spread faster than any fleet, because for the first time, a major power realized something terrifying. There was a species that did not retreat when the cost was too high. They stayed, and the galaxy would never be the same again. The viral did not attack again right away. That alone made the galaxy nervous. For centuries, the viral response to resistance had been simple and fast. They calculated losses, measured probability, and struck only when victory was clean. Silence from them meant they were thinking, and when the viral thought, entire systems usually paid the price. Human ships stayed at the Kethar line. They were not impressive to look at. Many carried old scars. Some still showed burn marks from earlier fights. Their crews worked openly in space suits, welding plates, rerouting cables, fixing what should not have been fixable. They did not hide their weakness. Other species watched from a distance. Some sent observers, some sent warnings. "You are provoking them," one envoy said. Captain Myra Ilias listened without argument. "We're holding a line. You cannot win a war like this." "We're not trying to win," Myra replied. "We're trying to make it cost something." The idea confused most of the galaxy. War to them was about advantage and efficiency. Humans talked about cost in a different way, not numbers, not percentages. They talked about what they were willing to lose. The viral returned 3 cycles later. This time they came carefully. Probes first. Long-range weapons testing human reactions. They expected scattered defense, maybe a fast retreat. Instead, the humans absorbed the hits and stayed quiet. When the viral advanced, they found something unexpected. The humans had changed the battlefield. Debris from old wrecks had been pulled into unstable fields. Sensor echoes overlapped. Clear targeting became difficult. The viral paused. Again, cost rose. Human ships moved forward in small groups. They did not coordinate perfectly. They did not move in clean formations, but they supported each other instinctively. When one ship took heavy damage, another drifted into its path, shielding it without being ordered. A viral strike group committed to an attack, calculating acceptable losses. They were wrong. The humans did not break when expected. One ship lost power and still fired manually. Another vented atmosphere but kept engines running. When ammunition ran out, they used mass. When mass ran out, they used momentum. A human frigate burned through its last reserves and slammed into a viral command ship, crippling its control systems. Not destroyed. Just disabled enough to force withdrawal, the viral pulled back again. This time the message reached deeper into their territory. Humanity was not strong. Humanity was persistent. The viral council gathered in a chamber of quiet light. Probability models scrolled endlessly. Every simulation ended the same way, not in defeat but in long, uneven conflict. Resources drained, attention divided, control weakened, all because humans refused to leave. "Why do they remain?" one counselor asked. "They accept loss before it happens," another said. "They do not retreat to avoid damage. They retreat only when there is nothing left to give." This was a concept the viral found deeply uncomfortable. Back at the line, Mara walked the length of her ship. The repairs were holding, barely. Her crew looked exhausted but steady. No one asked when they would leave. They already knew the answer. A message arrived from a neighboring coalition. They were sending ships, not to fight, to learn. They wanted to understand how humans operated under pressure, how they chose when logic said to stop. Mara allowed it. Observers watched humans argue, improvise, fail, and adapt in real time. There was no perfect plan, only commitment. During one engagement, a human ship lost its navigation systems entirely. Blind and damaged, it still held position, broadcasting its status so others could work around it. It became an anchor, not a liability. That ship survived. Slowly, the balance shifted, not in firepower, in mindset. The Viral attempted one final probe, deeper and more aggressive than before. They expected a breaking point. They did not find one. They found humans who were tired, hurt, and still present. The attack stalled. Loss projections climbed past acceptable thresholds. The Viral withdrew fully from the Kethar region, not defeated, but deterred. The galaxy reacted in shock. Borders that had been considered weak suddenly felt stronger with humans nearby. Trade routes reopened. Smaller species requested human defense agreements, not because humans promised victory, but because they promised not to abandon the field. Mara received a message weeks later. The Viral had issued a formal notice. They would not engage human-held territory without overwhelming force. It was the closest thing to respect they had ever given. Mara stood at the viewport, watching the stars drift by. She did not smile. She knew this was not an ending, just a pause. Humans would be tested again. Harder next time, but now the galaxy understood something important. Strength was not always about power. Sometimes it was about staying when leaving made more sense. And humanity had made that lesson impossible to ignore.